Hello. Click the button to make the screen active. Hello, welcome back to Frags and Beer Gaming. I am your host, Xamot, also known as Trevor. Author, streamer, journalist. I do a lot of things. I have a lot of interests. So welcome back to another 7 Days to Die mining tutorial. I guess not really a tutorial, but more of a tips and tricks, what to look for, what not to look for. Just seeing the intro isn't the Julie Bell, our logo is quite a lovely lady, isn't she? Sorry for that quick spin. So anyway, since our last video, I've made a lot of progress. Now I want to do more 7 Days to Die videos, but 7 Days to Die is a very grindy, or it can be a very grindy game. There's a lot of things that take a lot of time to do, whether it be building or resource gathering. I do want to bring you some videos of exploring the world and things like that, but if there are any suggestions or comments that you have, things that you would like to see, please let me know. If you're watching the stream, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. If you're watching the recording, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, let people know about the channel. Consider becoming a subscriber at subscribestar.com/Trevor Bierschbach. The link is in the description below. You can help keep the contents ad-free, keep the websites ad-free. There's swag, physical swag, and you get exclusive access to content on Subscribestar for every level. Only subscribers can do it, but you can sample the story Shadows of Barton for free, episode 1 on Subscribestar. So if you want to see what you're getting for your $1, $5, $10 a month subscription, you can go get a free sample at the website. But anyway, we're going to jump right back into this. So before I jump into the mining portion of it, I wanted to give you a quick tour of our base build. I started up here because it was raining when I was in last, but now the sun's out. So I'm going to take a quick jog up to the top. We are still working on this structure. And as you could see, or if you remember from the last video, we were at the car base that's over here by the lake. This is Alpha 18 on the Naves game map. So some of you may be familiar with this location. There's our original Horde Tower, and it lasted all of 30 seconds. The first Horde night we played it, as you can see, the bridge was destroyed when one of those suicide bomber zombies chased us out onto it, and then we spent the rest of the Horde night floating in the lake. Since then, we have built a Horde base over about in that area, and I'm not going to show you that today. I want to stream a Horde night, but it's far too laggy, and I just don't think it would look good. At some point, I will show you the Horde base, but it's not. It's based off another streamer's base, so it's nothing unique. It's not like we designed that. But our architect, Reckless, from the 5307th Rangers, has been working on this base, and this top part is where we're going to have our farm. This upper level here is going to be, I believe our kitchen is going to be up here, as well as living space. And more living spaces here once we get these rooms done. And then we have a wall, which will have a patio and some grates overhanging our defensive perimeter here. But this is so we can go out and clear any zombies that might be picking at the wall. This is not designed to withstand Horde Night, so keep that in mind. This is merely designed for us to have a place to work, to craft, and to mine from. So I'm going to go find my ladder down. I can't find my ladder down. Where are the stairs? Here they are. Okay, so this here is our forge room and our cement factory. You can see all our boxes labeled, nice and organized, built within the walls. Obviously, we have some interior decorating to do. We're waiting. This is the beginning. This is a place marker. We will be digging a tunnel down to under the lake to take us over to our Horde base. Right now, we have to drive around the lake, but we will eventually have a tunnel that takes us right there. This is our workshop. Again, you can see labels on everything highly organized. And our sawmill Over here is our garage. We're going to have a pull-through garage all the way through. And then over here, I'm not certain what this is yet. Our architect is still working on this. What's really cool is this vaulted ceiling that our architect put in. Pretty freaking impressive. Now, one of the things we learned about building a base this large is even though we have replaced all of the floor tiles and we have put down land clam blocks, we still have sleepers spawning in here. So we're putting down, I put this down today, hoping that we don't find any. When I came up here a couple days ago, we had sleepers in here, and earlier this morning, one of our other clanmates, Dead Meat, spawned in, and there were zombies in here. So we're hoping this, with the land claim blocks, will keep them out. Alright, so mining. Mining mishaps. We're not going to do the advanced stuff, but I will take you into the mine and show you what's changed and give you some tips and things on what to watch for. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. I will be watching that. If you want me to stop and explain something, let me know. Otherwise, if you're watching the recording, drop comments in if you have questions or want me to cover something in more detail. So first rule of thumb, never go down or come up your ladder empty-handed. So I'm going to double check. You want to make sure you've got food and water. I recommend red tea or coffee. We're almost out of red tea. We got to make some more, so I don't have any red tea with me. Make sure you've got your mining tools. You've got fuel and repair kits, and anything else you might need. I always carry a rifle. One of the mishaps, we've had zombies in the mine, so be careful. Don't go down empty-handed. Always carry a weapon. I'm going to drop off some stuff I brought up with me, because again, I was just down there, and I did not come up empty-handed. I'm not going to click on that because it's currently at max capacity, and it's going to be an annoying sound when I do, as it fills my inventory with concrete. Alright, I'm going to drop off the nitrate that I have crafted. You can see I can craft stacks at this point. Alright, so now we're going to go down to the mine. Now, if you missed some of the previous episodes, you will know that I dug all the way to the bedrock. You have to be very careful. Now, one of the mishaps, do not log out in your mine. It's a lot of, I was doing it. Dead Meat was also doing it. Problem was, one of our other members left the server shortly before Herd Night, and then Horde Night, not Herd Night. And then Dead Meat spawned in, and he was down here. So it instantly spawned the Horde zombies, the Blood Moon zombies, and they started digging down. And they dug all we didn't do this. All of this mess was made by the zombies trying to get down to Dead Meat, who was in the mine. So it is always advisable to log out on the surface so that at least you can escape that way. Alright, so I have built up a little higher, but you can see what I'm doing here. Some of the advanced tricks is I'm staggering the probe shafts. I know, probe shafts. But anyway, literally probing for ore, digging a straight line, but I offset them so that they support each other's weight all the way up. Eventually this scaffolding will go all the way to the top. That way's the lake, so I put a sign. And now we know the bottom of the lake is... I had somebody swim to the bottom for me. So we know that the bottom of the lake is at plus 42. I'm putting that there so I don't have to try to remember it. But the bedrock is at plus 3. So if I were to dig in that direction, that tells me how high I can go without springing a leak in the mine. And you can see Meat's probe goes this way. And we have our sign. Don't go up empty-handed. Always take up what you need. Keep it lit. Keep it cooking. We have 4 forges down here. They're always running. They're always smelting down ore, and they're always making things. We keep them lit. Keep them cooking. Of course, we have no idea when the last accident was. And we have some of our temp storage down here while we were moving. Also have a concrete mixer down here so that I can make concrete without having to go to the surface all the time. Because once you get down here, if you're going to spend a lot of time down here, you don't want to keep going up and down the ladder. Alright, so now we're going to go take a look at... Alright, so this was my initial probe shaft. And I dug all the way here until I hit ore. And if you watch the last advanced mining technique, you'll know that then I dug the perimeter so I could see how big it was. And then I started digging up. So now we're gonna go up. And again, mining is very grindy. So I'm not going to give you a whole mining video like for hours. That's silly. But my basic technique, we're going to cover this again real quick. I dig the perimeter all the way around. Once I get to the top, now you can see the cavern here is really high. So once I got to the top, you start digging the perimeter, and then once you have the perimeter done, then you clear that level. Methodically clear the level, cut a perimeter, clear the level. Because your caverns are going to be different shapes and sizes, you can't just cut down several levels. You'll miss things, you'll have cave-ins, you'll have accidents. So do it methodically, do it slowly, and do it a little bit at a time so that if you do have a problem, it doesn't become a massive problem. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. Now, in our last video, you know that when I got to the top of this vein, it was very long. It went way back up through that hole right there. And there's actually another gigantic cavern over there that I cleared and then came back to this one. Now when I got to this one, I found another offshoot, and this is where I had my first problem. Now Dead Meat had the same problem, but we didn't know what the problem was. We thought his auger attracted zombies that dug their way down to him, but that's not what happened. So I will explain. Let me go to the top of this. So when I got to the top of this offshoot here, it was actually another vein. Now you can see the other vein here keeps going down. I have not cleared that one yet. But what I found, and you can see this giant structure here, what I found is there is a limit to how long or wide your cavern can be. We found that limit to be about 46 blocks. I'm not 100% sure of the exact number because the problem started happening when I was already cutting another layer. So it could have been at the 40 block mark or the 44 or 46. Not certain. But what happened is, right about here, we had 2 blocks all the way to the surface fall in. It was nowhere near the surface. There was probably another 20 blocks to the surface. It just started caving in. And if I had cut another layer, I would have lost a 3rd block, and so on. As I expanded, that what do you want to call it, slash in the ground would have kept getting progressively longer. Now that's what happened to Dead Meat. Dead Meat didn't notice it at first. So his chasm, we started calling it, because it was just gigantic. By the time he realized what was happening, zombies had fallen in. That's why we thought they dug down there. And it was really hard to fix it. So when I found mine, what I noticed is there was a cave in. There was like some junk blocks sitting on top of my vein, and I wondered where they came from. And I came over here and I noticed a hole in the ceiling that went all the way to the surface. So I went up to the top and I found the hole. No zombies had dug down there. None had fallen in. That's just what happened. So I'm going to go up real quick to kind of give you an idea. Now this is very risky because it's not very safe up here. And I can break a leg by falling, so I don't want to fall. But anyway, what I did is I basically, nerd pulled my way up here, fixing the blocks as I went until I got to the hole. And then I used stone to work my way back to the surface until I had patched the entire hole. And then I supported the 2-block hole with this wood column. Now, this cavern kept going, and it kept getting longer. So I kept building the supports in such a way that hopefully I could support the ceiling as the cavern expanded. And I'll go into this real quick. I also started building ribs to go around and down. That way, as I keep digging, because you can see it keeps going under there, and I'm not entirely certain how much further out it's going to support its own weight. So as I progressively dig this tunnel, I'm going to keep building out as far as I can anyway until I run out of support. Now I may have to do another rib structure in order to do that. Now I'm going to do a quick hop down and get off of this thing before I fall. Okay. Now in these, I put these on the stone, as you can see, and this one, I dug this one down to bedrock. Then I realized I didn't have to do that. And I set this one on the stone so that I can mine the ore around it. But that's one of the major mishaps is as you're mining, the size of the structure, the size of your cavern, as it grows, you will start to lose integrity at the top. Even if your ceiling is stone and you're well below the surface, you will start to lose integrity. So because of that, one thing to keep in mind, now we're going to look at the map real quick. You could see our base right here. You want to be very careful mining under any structures you want to keep permanent, because if you forget and your base expands to a certain point, you will notice that or you may wind up caving in a permanent structure without even realizing it before it's too late. Now, as you can see right here, see this gray line? This is sort of the repair work, the band-aid we'd put over Dead Meat's gash. Chasm, when he, his gash, that's a great way to say it, right? We put over his chasm when we figured out what was going on, and you can see that gray line right there is his cave-in. It was huge. It was probably 10 blocks long. And mine, let me move out of the way so you can see mine. You can kind of see a comparison of what we ran into. So you can see my cave-in right here, this little gray dot. That is the band-aid, the stone that filled in my cave-in. So thankfully mine was not nearly as catastrophic as Dead Meat's. But that's one thing you really have to watch for when you're mining down here, is making sure that you pay attention to the size, you pay attention to where you're at, not only elevation, but where you're at on the map. Make sure you're not right under a permanent structure and doing very large-scale mining. Mine away from your structures. Even if you find a vein, leave it. Go somewhere else so that you're not right under something important. Otherwise, you may wind up destroying a lot of good work. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we need to cover? I don't see any questions in the chat. So anyway, that is what to watch for mining mishaps. Oh, one other thing. With your auger, even at the bedrock, if you're using an auger to mine, zombies can hear it. And if they get stuck on something, now they don't necessarily dig straight down to you. What happens is you spawn a herd up on the surface, and they sort of mill about trying to find that sound. But if they get caught on anything, they get caught on a weird divot in the ground or a protrusion or anything that stops them from being able to walk normally, they will attack it. They'll get aggressive and attack. If that breaks a divot, they'll fall into it and they'll keep going. And it's not that they're digging down so much as they're stuck and can't move, and when they do that, they just start punching whatever's in their way, which can cause them to slowly dig down and toward you. So one thing I recommend is, if you're using the auger, I avoid it at night. I don't use my auger at all at night because the zombies are faster and more aggressive, and there are more of them. If you get 10 or 12 zombies in that divot all punching at the same time, it won't take them long to dig down to you. So that's something you want to avoid. If you do use it during the day, stop and listen every so often. run out when the gas runs out, stop. Listen, you'll be able to hear the zombies at the surface if they're fighting something or being aggressive. If you think you hear something, run up to the surface and take a look. Make sure you don't have anything digging down toward you, because the last thing you want is a hole in your mind that you don't know about, because that will allow zombies to get in, dogs to get in, and you don't want those kind of surprises when you're focused on mining. You won't be able to hear them when you're banging away at the metal, and before you know it, they'll sneak up on you. So I think that concludes our mining tips for the day. Mishaps that we've run into and things to watch for. That structure, pretty freaking impressive, but very, very necessary. So be careful. Watch the size of your caverns, and make sure that you're not undermining your own permanent structures. You don't want to find that out when it's too late. So that's it for today. I'm going to leave you with that, and we may have more streams this weekend. I'm really sort of feeling it, so watch for more streams. Maybe a Guild Wars 2 stream again tonight. I had one this morning and one last night, so if you missed those, go check them out. If you missed our previous mining videos, there are 2 of them, Mining Basics and Advanced Mining with Xamot. Check those out also on Frags of Beer Network. Links at the bottom. And as usual, you guys have a great day. I will see you next time. Much love.